Do you think he's actually going to fight in bare knuckle?
No, but he's the best front runner, like face of an organization as ridiculously crazy as bare knuckle is, dude.
Yeah.
I want to take a second to give some credit to the PFL. Their organization or their production was not too bad.
For the first time ever.
Personally, based on the fight, I think the first round, maybe he lost. Second round was kind of still up in the air, but the third, fourth, and fifth round, I think that he won that fight. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Over the Octagon podcast. You know who it is. It's your boys, Joel and Evan. And today we got a couple things we got going on. We had PFL yesterday, Road to Dubai, and then we have UFC Fight Night coming up this week, which is honestly, in my opinion, better than the next pay-per-view that's coming up in
without a doubt
in Australia. So a lot of good fights on that, but you know, first and foremost, if you're listening, go ahead and hit that like, comment, subscribe to the channel, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you're listening to it on. Make sure you're following the episodes because we're keeping going. 2025 is going to be a banger fucking year, so stay tuned. But yeah, let's jump right in. Yesterday, we can kind of talk about fighting yesterday. There was a
lot.
Pretty decent amount of fighting going on yesterday that I don't think a lot of people realized was going to be going on. Yeah. Simply because there was no UFC, but you had Knucklemania, you had the bare knuckle fighting, like their big pay-per-view. I wouldn't even call it pay-per-view, but their big card. It may have been a pay-per-view. I don't know if it was. I didn't really get to watch much of it.
Yeah.
But I know it's a big pay-per-view. And I think the main event was
Jeremy Stephens
and Eddie Alvarez, and Jeremy Stephens won. And then saw him and Conor McGregor get face-to-face with each other at the end and talking shit and kind of, you know, getting a little hype, which is kind of cool. If anybody knows the previous Conor McGregor, Jeremy Stephens story, you know, who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah. So pretty cool to see that. But I mean, Conor McGregor, this is what he's built for, dude. I think he's found his niche and he needs to stay away from the UFC. Stay with bare knuckle. I feel like that's perfect for him, dude.
Do you think he's actually going to fight in bare knuckle?
No, but he's the best front runner, like face of an organization as ridiculously crazy as bare knuckle is, dude.
Yeah.
Like who else would you want as the face of one of the most brutal fighting organizations out there right now?
Right.
In bare knuckle. I mean, it's crazy, dude. That one guy got knocked out and his fucking neck went right onto the rope and like, dude, that shit's dangerous, bro.
I mean, even watching Jeremy Stephens like hit Eddie Alvarez, fuck, man. I mean, they were like,
it's crazy.
He hit him with a left hook. He hit Eddie Alvarez with a left hook towards the end that I think it looked like it immediately broke Eddie Alvarez's jaw because he hit him with it. It was so hard that Eddie immediately kind of stumbled back and then just like put his hand on his face. And you could see him like, you know, he's like, it looked like he was like trying to adjust his jaw. I was like, oh.
It takes some balls to do that shit.
It's brutal. Even the, I don't know if it was the co-main, but
the chicks?
Killer B. What's her name? Taylor Sterling or Starling?
I don't know her name, but I did see like the aftermath of
and she lost. I believe.
Yeah, and she had like their face is all swollen and fucking disformed and shit after every fight. It was crazy.
That was a vicious fight.
They're like, we love it. We love it. Like, dude, no, you don't. There's no way you love that. Like, not a chance, dude. Not even UFC fighters want to go out there and get punched in the face bare knuckle.
Right.
So,
yeah. I mean, it's the same as Power Slap. A lot of them watch Power Slap and are like, fuck that. What the hell?
It's just you're standing there getting brain damage for no reason, you know?
Yeah.
It's dumb. But so bare knuckle.
No way they get paid enough. There's just no way.
No, dude. That's why they have Jeremy Stephens and Eddie Alvarez main events, because nobody's willing to go out there and take the pay that they're paying them, but guys who are kind of washed up old fighters in the UFC, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Then you have someone who will main event a fight like that. It's nuts, dude, you know? But anyways, besides that, you had UFC, I guess, was it Road to Dubai or Dubai,
PFL.
or was it PFL Road to Dubai? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Had some really good fights on it, though. I will give it that. And I want to take a second to give some credit to the PFL. Their organization or their production was not too bad.
For the first time ever.
Dude, fights were running smooth. they had the co-main, and by the time the co-main was over, the main event started within like 10 minutes.
Okay.
They were in the ring 10 minutes after the co-main. So I'm like, dude, like fights were going, they were cooking. Normally that's not the case.
No.
Normally they got like a 30-minute break in between fights. And
Yeah.
I think I even read on Twitter, somebody was like, we're going to get one of those like 17 national anthems in between this co-main and main event, aren't we? And then they didn't do that. They just did the walkout, and then they started fighting. I was like, damn, okay, PFL got it together a little bit. I wasn't too mad about that. So,
right.
But the main event, that's really what the word of yesterday was that main event. Paul Hughes and then Usman Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
Big fight, big implications. Unfortunately, I kind of saw it as a robbery / I think it shouldn't have went the way it did. I don't know if you wouldn't call it a robbery, but I thought Paul Hughes won. Personally, based on the fight, I think the first round, maybe he lost. Second round was kind of still up in the air, but the third, fourth, and fifth round, I think that he won that fight. But a lot of people didn't see it that way. So
yeah, it seemed to be really split. I mean, I know we talked about it yesterday. It seemed to be really split on social media, kind of like how people thought about it. I even saw something today that somebody scored it 4-1 for Usman and argued that he also won some round and said you could argue that it was 5-0 Usman.
There's no way, dude. I mean, if you watch that fight, dude, and if you turned it down like slow motion, you could watch Paul Hughes work the body, dude, and like work those shots, dude. He was hurting Usman with those body shots, dude.
Yeah.
And he's by far the worst Nurmagomedov that's undefeated.
You think so?
Yeah, dude. I mean, he's really he's the only one outside of Khabib, right? Out of the front four now?
I guess, yeah. If Umar lost.
Lost. Khabib was undefeated, and he's undefeated. Then Islam was really not a Nurmagomedov, but he's kind of part of that chain, and he's lost one. So, yeah, Usman's the only undefeated one that's still kind of active outside of the random ones that you'll find out there. But I think he's definitely beatable. He's now you can see, now there's a way to beat him. Like, people know how to beat him now.
Yeah.
And to be honest, now that I've watched Umar lose and I've watched Usman almost lose, I'm starting to question their cardio, bro. His cardio dipped in the fourth, fifth round, third, them champion rounds, and so did Umar's.
Yeah. Well, so Umar, it's tough because like I've thought about this. Like, it almost, for Umar, it looked like, I think it looked so bad because of who he was up against. Right? Like, if you had him up against another fighter with, let's just say, normal cardio.
Yeah.
Would it have looked so bad, or did he look like he was so much more tired because across the cage from him was Merab that, seemed to be getting better and better somehow?
Yeah, but people who pride themselves on being in a Dagestani wrestling room and training room, you would think that their cardio would be impeccable. Like, I mean, they're in there rolling around in their own sweat and diseases in those fucking gyms every damn day, dude. It's gross. And you mean to tell me their cardio can't last 25 minutes?
Sure.
Regardless of who they're fighting? Come on now.
Yeah. I mean, the body work by Hughes,
it slowed him down a lot.
Plays a part. Yeah.
No, it did. But unfortunately, he had one chance to do what Conor McGregor could never do, and he didn't do it. He unfortunately fell short. So now the Dagestanis have another one up on the Irish. So
yeah,
it's unfortunate, but whatever. Yeah, Paul Hughes, he was this close, man. He was this close. Right. Merab has finally taken down one. He was this close to taking down one and doing what McGregor couldn't do, and he just couldn't do it. But I do think that Paul Hughes needs to. I wish he didn't sign a deal with the PFL because I want him in the UFC like ASAP. That guy's
a lot of those guys, like,
he's tough as fuck.
Guys, I mean, those are kind of the only really big names that the PFL is going to have kind of pushing forward. Like, I mean, they can try to convince you that Impa Kasanye is whatever they say he is, but what he is in the UFC, right?
Sure.
So, who cares? I mean, they have good talent for the PFL, But like when you take the PFL champions and put them against, even top 10 or top 15 UFC talent, they lose. So
yep. I mean, speaking of, it's a prime example of what we also saw in the next fights of the weekend, Karate Combat. Rosebellis Desbane, second fight in the Karate Combat, second fight under 15 seconds finish, but gets dominated in the UFC. You know, it's
I mean, that's the perfect that's the perfect promotion for him, though.
Yeah, you know what I mean. There's no grappling involved. He can't get taken down. And
he's got
up.
He has a taekwondo style.
Yep.
I mean,
that's the perfect reckless dude. He just throws the most crazy overhand, like sloppy punches, dude. It's wild.
He just throws so hard. He's huge.
But if
he's
they
6'7".
You're dead, dude.
I think even him, as hard as he throws, even his punches hitting somebody's guard hurt. I mean,
100%. And then obviously Alex Pereira's sister,
Eileen
Pereira with another left hook.
Yeah, it was an early stoppage.
Signature hook finish, just like her brother. I mean,
it was an early stoppage.
She would have finished the fight, though. I think
she would have won the fight either way, probably. Sure, but I think she's like, with the connection to her with Alex obviously being her brother, I think she's like arguably one of the biggest, if not the biggest star that Karate Combat has.
Oh, for sure. She wasn't going to lose the fight anyways.
Nah, but it was early. I mean, it was an early stoppage.
I've seen earlier. I've seen more questionable stoppages.
Okay.
To be fair.
Yeah. It was pretty bad.
I mean,
it was pretty bad, but it's all good. But it was.
Some may say the Jamal Hill stoppage was early too, but we saw how his outcome was the next fight. So.
Yeah, nah, nobody says that except for him, dude. He's the only person that said that. That's it. That only him is. Yeah.
I know. But anyways, that was outside of no UFC this weekend. That was pretty solid slate of fighting that we got to see.
There was LFA 200.
LFA 200,
yeah.
Well.
Yep. I watched a little bit
of
that. They had some bangers fight. Cage Titans last night. New featherweight champion who trains out of New England Cartel with some of our buddies won last night, so congrats to him. I mean, dude, just stacked a ton. Like I have 3 monitors here, and I had stuff on every monitor, and still was just like, there was a lot to keep up with. So.